The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Aaron Dean, Fort Worth PD. Baltimore 6, Freddie Gray case. Darren Wilson, Ferguson PD. Danny Pantaleo, NYPD. The Louisville 5 and the Breonna Taylor shooting. Garrett Rolfe, Atlanta PD. The Rayshard Brooks shooting. Just to name a few. What do these guys all have in common? These are officers arrested for doing their job. And not doing the job the way they wanted to do their job. They were arrested for doing the job the way they were taught to do the job. What changed? Perps, cops, priorities, public perception, politicians. Yeah. But it wasn't random. It was a calculated effort to diminish law enforcement. And I thank Obama for that with Beergate. But then Mosby, Pritzker, de Blasio, and Bragg, just to name a few, followed suit. We actually had a police chief in Aurora, Colorado, who ordered his officers to stand down in 2020 when protesters chained the doors of his precinct shut. Occupy Wall Street. Occupy Portland twice. Seattle. DAs are overcharging cops, mayors are cutting budgets, and civilians are attacking us every day. Who would want to be a police officer in this toxic, unsupported environment? I'll tell you who. Cops that don't give a shit about your support, your feelings, or your pronouns. Cops from the 80s and 90s. Dust those dinosaurs off, give them a Coca-Cola and full immunity, and hold my fucking beer. And I think my guest today would agree. I'm Tommy Werther, and you're in the Blue Room. Welcome back to the Blue Room. Coming to you live from the Tactical Financial Studios in beautiful downtown Phillipsburg, New Jersey.
Lovely downtown.
Lovely. I like beautiful. I like beautiful.
You would.
Home of the Blue Podcast Network. Joining us today is retired Port Authority Police Department Lieutenant Joe Macaluso to my left. Retired Police Port Authority Bobby Vargas to my right. Guys, we're here to talk about Eddie Gray. We're here to talk about the differences in law enforcement from the time you guys got on the job to the time now and everything in between. What do you think? What's going on over here, Joe? Well, what the fuck happened?
I don't know what happened, but it seems that the outside interference is interfering with cops doing their jobs.
Bobby?
Well, for me, I think everything went sideways with the George Floyd. But what happened, that incident itself changed policing. I saw the decline immediately of the disrespect toward the police officers. We lost a lot of credibility that day. A lot of people looking down at us. And the job that used to be respected, that was a well-respected job, people now had no respect for us whatsoever. Just the fact that you could see it in NYPD, guys trying to make an arrest, people being doused with water. That happened in New York City.
And is anyone else seeing the Puerto Rican Wayne Newton? I'm thinking like he should be in Vegas singing a song, right, with that jacket. Yes or no? I know
you're dancing. You're dancing on some.
We're celebrating Eddie Gray. Bobby went full nuts with his Wayne Newton. I think he's going to belt out a little Dunkashane later. If you guys stick around long enough.
If you do, I'll do it for you. Don't worry about it. But I could do it in Spanish too. So
even better. Combined, what do you guys got? 90 years law enforcement experience combined, somewhere close to it?
Just about.
Right? 47 years, Bobby.
Yeah, I got 41.
41, 47. Jeez, that's a lot of time.
Great career.
A lot of different departments.
Awesome career. Awesome.
You didn't start at Port Authority though, correct?
I started in 1978 with the Clifton PD under the CETA program. CETA was a Comprehensive Employment Training Act.
Was that before or after Wyatt Earp? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, so I started in 1978. I was granted that job through the administration in Clifton because I met with the town administrator, Mr. Holster, and I told him I was desperate and I wanted to be a cop. I took over 70 plus tests to be a police officer. I wanted to do it all my life.
You took 70 tests to be
At
like
least.
different agencies.
Different
Each department had a test. There wasn't a.
In Bergen County, there's 72 towns, and most of the towns are called the chief's test, not civil service.
Mhm.
So I took every test I could.
And is that process also okay? You took this test, but it really helps if you play pool with the chief type of thing, or is it that helps?
More than likely, but if you shine and you got a good written score and you got a good physical to impress them, because
Mhm.
physical fitness was a big thing back then. I mean, if
Yeah, everyone was 6 foot tall and white, pretty much, right? I mean,
Uh,
they call a spade a spade. I mean, that's pretty much what it was.
Well,
It was all big white guys.
I worked out with the Patterson guys, and they were Spanish, black. We worked out together and roughed it up together, and anybody that saw that was up in the hiring phase of their job would call you.
You have a very interesting story, and we had talked about yesterday. When one of your chiefs, there was a requirement for residency, and you didn't quite make it, and they were kind of like, "Well, we like it, and I think you're going to work out. So let's see what we can do to get
Yes.
you in."
Yeah, that was the temporary funding for Clifton. The CETA program was running out. A lot of my colleagues, there were 36 of us in Clifton. And that's my hometown. I love that town. I still do to this day. And the funds were running out. A lot of my colleagues were taking lateral transfers to the DPW just to stay in the city of Clifton and work. And a chief from Hawthorne, Mangiafico, Jim Mangiafico, he called me up one day and he said, "Listen, I want you on my job." He was one of the monitors at the physical fitness portions of some of the tests I took.
Mhm.
And he saw me throw the medicine ball like nearly across the whole gym. So
With someone attached to it, or
so he called me up and he says, "Please, do you know anybody that you could use their address in Hawthorne?" Turns out my father worked for an oil company, and the oil company's owner lived in Hawthorne. And so all he did was ask him, and there was a stipulation that I could use his address to get on.
bring the mic a little closer to you.
I could use his address to get on.
Little old man, please sit closer to the mic.
I could use his address to get on, but then the mayor, who was 40 years the mayor back in 1979 when I got on, he insisted that I get an apartment or some type of permanent residency, and I did.
And I'm certain that wouldn't have happened in the NYPD when you were a transit cop, right, Bobby?
Well, for me, 1979, I took the NYPD test, and this is where
I was 8.
different right now.
I was 8 years old.
I took the 1979 test. You were 8 years old.
You see how Lou just keeps going? He doesn't even acknowledge. He just keeps going.
No, the thing about it is that back in the day, in order to go an NYPD police officer, the passing grade was a 92.
Really?
Yes, 92. If you got less than a 92, you were out.
It's not like the fire department test where everyone gets a 99 and 5 points if you spell your name right, and 2 points if you live in Queens.
Obviously now, NYPD, they got different bands, ABCs, and now
Well, the standards now. I mean,
the standards are
hiring
lower.
standards are ridiculous.
Yeah, well
NYPD
now you could get probably hired with a criminal.
you can get hired with
with a
specific
misdemeanor.
certain felonies,
Yes.
but certainly misdemeanors.
E-felonies, probably E-felonies, you could get arrested.
Crazy.
And also the credits,
College
the
credits.
college credits.
You
They,
didn't need it then, though, right?
No. Before you needed it, especially at NYPD. Now they got rid of it.
Well, they went from 60. I think they went from 62 to 24.
Well, I think the way they got around it is saying, well, the curriculum of NYPD, 6 months, you get a certain amount of credits.
You can go to there's this university called Empire State. I remember when I was on the job, and they made it a college grade requirement credits for promotion. I was the last class where there was no college requirement. And guys were taking the test. They'd go to Empire State, and they were getting 16 credits in life experience credits. So you basically showed up and you had a little history of something. I worked I was an EMT for 9 years. I got credits for that. At the end of the day, you took a basket weaving course. You got your 24, and you were in. Right. They went up to 62, and now it's back down to 24. The hiring standards, the physical standards. They took out the 1.5 mile run, which she's putting back in. But the standards now are so low. Orange County, New York has released a statement saying that they will no longer, in the county, no more municipalities are hiring NYPD transfers. I went to the academy with guys that would graduate, and then the next day they'd send their letter of resignation because it was all hooked up already. They were just waiting to graduate to go on to the next. Orange County says the standard of training in NYPD is below federal standards, lower than Orange County standards. Therefore, you can't just go from this job to that job. Like, that's awful. I mean, and that might be calculated. NYPD is losing people to attrition at a rate of like 3 to 1. 3 guys are retiring, they're hiring 1. How do you keep them here? You keep them here so that they're not desirable to other departments, maybe? Is it by design? But the lowering those standards, I understand there's a shortage. There's not a shortage because people don't want to be cops. There's a shortage because people don't want to be cops now. They don't want to be cops there. Like I said in the intro, who wants to work in that kind of environment where you have no support, not only from your not necessarily your coworkers, the men and women you're sharing the floor with, they're a different species than the supervisors. Even your sergeant and lieutenants are fairly not, still on the level for the most part. And once you get above that, but then that shit rolls downhill. Then that captain that is gunning for something, he's got to hit it on the lieutenant, goes down to the sergeant, goes down to the cops. Where does it end? That's why guys don't want to take the job.
Right.
It's politicized. They're not getting support from the mayor. They're not getting the CCRB council. They've got like a 95% rate of conviction. Conviction we call them, but that those complaints are founded. Who comes into that environment? Well, you get 6 weeks, 5 weeks vacation. We're starting you at $75,000. That's all fine and good.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd rather have less money, but having the support of the people I work with, who I work for, and who I'm protecting every day. Because when you lose the support of the citizens, they're the ones that we have the most problem with. If the citizens don't respect you, they're the guys that are throwing bricks and water. And you see the videos all the time where they walk up to a cop. There's one guy running around and he just motherfucks these guys left, right, and center. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Maybe you need a different job. And the guys are just sitting there and you're thinking, man, you know what, 20 years ago?
Maybe I do need a different job.
This conversation wouldn't have happened 20 years ago. Like, what are they thinking? What are they thinking? I mean, so Port Authority, I know, Joe, you had said that you were at the terminal, the bus terminal. You bounced around a little bit before you landed at the Holland.
The Lincoln, I did the bus terminal. I was in the pool, the Central Police pool.
Mm-hmm.
So I bounced from different facilities, and then I ended up going to the bus terminal a lot, the Lincoln Tunnel a lot.
So the bus terminal, is that the one on 42nd Street or 40?
Midtown bus terminal.
And so I remember back in the day, that was like every homeless person and every transient was sleeping in the bathrooms.
Right.
There were sex meetings and hookups and all sorts of craziness going on.
Whoa. Sex meetings.
Oh, dude.
What?
Well, do you have the picture? Isn't this where you met Josh?
Oh, hold on. I don't know. I got a stack of pictures, bro. You really. And,
all right. So your sister,
and if there has to be one person,
talk to your sister.
if there's going to be one person that's going to fuck up my name, it would be you.
Yeah,
you failed already.
I'm failing. You guys are failing. This was done. This should have been done. You should have been waiting there for this.
Oh,
Just saying.
listen.
Way to fuck up my mojo.
Oh, this.
Well, I have to add that.
Is it right? Isn't that
Really, bro?
This
This is what I get.
This is the glory hole on the second floor, isn't it?
This is the thanks I get.
Isn't that where you met him?
Son of
You were doing the rounds. You saw a pair of feet hanging out under the stall, and that's what you walked into. That's rumor. I don't know if it's true.
Bobby across the table from us has tremendous stories of the bus terminal. He was there for a long, long time.
Was it as bad as we were led to believe back in the 90s where
it was the saying, obviously they had this thing called the stairwell, and that's where all the crackheads, the Port Authority decided just to push them away from the public and let them.
So like Baltimore, give them a place to riot and burn, let them do their thing.
Let them go in there. They would stay in there and smoke crack.
Was that Hamstertown, right? And was that The Wire? And they call it Hamsterville or Hamstertown, where they basically said all the drugs and stuff can happen in that one place, and the cops just backed off.
Yeah, that's the way it was.
Like, you can do crack, you can give blowjobs, just do it in stairwell F.
Yeah.
We don't want to see it.
And then every once in a while, when it was time when it got the infestation got so crazy, we would go with a bunch of guys, and then we would start taking them out with hoses. The Port Authority employees, the maintenance guys had hoses and start throwing water coming down, so they will all pick up their stuff and run.
And then this was obviously when we were still doing paper prints, and no one knew anything about rubber gloves back then. That must have been a real like,
Correct.
oh, the rookies are doing the fingerprints today because you didn't know what was on this guy's hands, right?
Yes, correct.
Like feces, semen, like you didn't know what
We,
you were
we,
doing.
didn't, we didn't even use
didn't even think
rubber
about
gloves. We used to use leather gloves.
Yeah.
More stronger than the plastic.
Well, for
gloves.
like puncture and stuff.
Yeah.
But you just didn't know. Literally, like you print that guy and then just grab your sandwich and eat like a car mechanic, right?
Absolutely.
It's grease everywhere. There's
Absolutely.
blood and semen. You're like, yeah, whatever. Just give me some fries with that, will you?
Yeah. It was,
We're gonna dip those
it
fries.
was a fast life.
Oh my god. Overtime, was it a place where you guys were constantly working, or was it a
Overtime.
Well, I
overtime.
mean-
No, there's
I mean,
absolutely no overtime there.
pickpockets, all that? What is this? Well, it's not off the rails yet.
No,
Off
not
the
yet.
rails yet. So and you guys obviously met Eddie at Holland. Is that where it
Yes.
all came? Like
Yeah.
literally showed up one day and said, "I'm new and like me."
I met Eddie when he was a Hudson County Sheriff's Officer. And I had so many cases going into grand jury in Hudson County where that recent accident happened with that sheriff's officer falling out the window. We used to go there all the time, sometimes 2-3 times a week. And Eddie used to be in the back assigned to the parking lot security. And we would take our own cars sometime and go there. And we'd give Eddie the keys, and he was gracious enough to help us.
Oh,
park
move the
them.
car. Like if you need to move.
If- yeah,
block
because
them
he
in.
was under strict orders, no civilian cars, only county cars.
Did he have a nice flat top going on back then? I saw some younger pictures
Yeah,
with
pretty
that.
much so, yeah.
That military state
Yeah.
trooper little mustache he had back then and that short cropped flat top.
That's how I met Eddie. And then my crew that we would go into grand jury with, we were telling him, listen, the Port Authority's having a test soon. Why don't you take the test? And he listened to us. And the next thing you know, the next time I saw him, he was walking through the front doors of the Lincoln Tunnel.
So should he be blaming you or thanking you?
And I think he thinks.
Yeah, I just want to say something about Eddie Gray. I met Eddie Gray one time when he came to the bus terminal at the time. He came with Sergeant Grabley.
Was he in the stairwell or no?
No, he was at the front desk. I came in.
I want to know what his participation level was here.
Yeah, one thing about Eddie Gray was a sharp guy, always clean. And that's one of the things as supervisor that I was looked at the men, made sure their uniforms were on spotless.
Always took pride in himself.
Eddie was always top notch. Eddie to the last end.
No, he's pretty straight laced.
Yeah, straight.
Clean cut.
One thing I want to say about Eddie Gray decided to be a police officer for 20 something years. Eddie Gray, a lot of people don't know, was what they told him, actually told him if he wanted to be a detective. At the time, being a detective for the Port Authority, you make 25% more than a regular police officer. Eddie Gray turned it down. That's Eddie Gray.
Nah, I like what I do.
Yeah,
Why would extra responsibility?
Well, he was a responsible young man working, but
Well, there's definitely a different vibe with the people you work with on patrol than a squad. You know, squads are much smaller, obviously. You know, you've got your friends downstairs. You know, we call it downstairs. We have your friends downstairs, but it's just not for everyone. Like that's just that work is different. You know,
Yeah.
you love this work. I still now. I'm retired 20 years. I see a car stop and I get a little like, oh man, I see a chase or whatever.
Always in your blood.
Yeah, it's not like I
Always.
want to know what's going on. Like I just want to be like the back car. I just want to,
And-
I want to T-bone somebody.
yeah, Eddie Gray wasn't, like I said, he wasn't a detective, but he was what you call one of these officers, a training officer to the max.
Mhm.
Always there to help him out. Needlessly unselfish, and that's the type of man Eddie Gray is.
Well, it sounds like he's going to be missed.
No,
Yes.
big time. Eddie Gray. There'll never be another Eddie Gray.
taught
Yeah,
something.
I'm physically depressed.
And Ash,
Yeah, you look it. You look
I'm
it.
physically-
Josh,
You haven't,
Sorry.
you haven't eaten in weeks. I can tell.
Josh could attest to that because
Yeah.
this guy Josh he's a go-getter. So him and Eddie used to be one of the few guys used to go out there doing law enforcement because that's a lost art. Obviously, nobody wants to
Yep.
take out their handcuffs.
But-
put it on
And
anybody.
rightfully so.
But
like we
I
talked
but I
earlier,
was
it's a-
not
it's a
I was
different-
not as well put together as Eddie was.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Vargas. I was chased many times for the variations of the uniform
Uniform
That I-
of the day.
that I would be. My uniform of the day was specific to me. I think
So you had one tie for the first 10 years of your career.
tie.
Is
What
that
is
pretty
what
much
is
it?
tie? What is that?
It was DNA and spaghetti sauce all over it.
We always knew when it was seasonal uniform change because Josh would come in crying.
Uh-huh. I don't want it.
Well, and also on the talking about uniforms, obviously you can see NYPD. I mean, my mother lives in the Bronx. I go to the Bronx. I look at like you said, you look at police officers. Their uniforms are raggedy. I'm sorry to say, which is
No,
true.
they definitely know. He's 100%. There's no offense taken.
All kind of different hairstyles, which is insane. One thing that for myself, and Joe could attest to that, the whole thing with beards. When I was back in the day in the job, you had that lip line.
Yep.
No beards, nothing. You know, make sure you're clean shaven. If not, you'll be in trouble.
But it's gone to so many different levels beyond that. I mean, you take into account religious items that people come wear. It kills me to see officers wearing things that I would identify as a potential hazard for you, whether it be a real tie. The reason we have breakaway ties is a reason for it. But the hair, I could see, and then it was mostly women, and now it's men as well with long hair, just a weapon that could be used against you. I get it. You want long hair and all, that's all fine and good, but forget about the unkempt look, the sloppy look that some have, because some of them look very professional and clean cut. We're just used to, we were raised knowing that we didn't, you probably shaved every day, maybe twice a day back in 1980, right? I mean, it's just the way it was. Now it's, if you discipline an officer, there's going to be a report somewhere, right? If you don't write it, they're going to write it against you. Like it's most dog eat their own world right now for whatever reason. And what they don't get is that there is no one else out there for us except us. So why are you going to break this guy's balls or this girl's balls about whatever this little nitpicky bullshit you're doing? Because when you call that 85 or that 13, they're going to be there. You stop a guy, we're going through this thing with the MTA guys writing tags on retired cops and off-duty cops, and the transit thing going on now that the MTA, the transit authority said that transit cops couldn't use their bathrooms anymore. I'm like, guys, you don't understand. When they start kicking the shit out of that booth clerk or that cleaner on that station platform, who's saving your ass? And not even the guys that are working. A retired guy is going to be the first one to jump up and get involved.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're going to break our balls about whatever it is you're breaking our balls about? Like it's counterintuitive to survival, not because you're not going to be a cop forever, right? You go into a hospital now, you can't bring your gun. Believe me when I tell you, I'm the guy you want a gun. When you're in Lutheran Medical Center in the ER on a Friday night, I'm the guy you want to have a gun. Right.
Well, not only in the hospital. Now I get the mayor put like 42nd Street down to a big chunk.
Yeah, no carry zone.
No carry zone. Before now, you can't even go to Madison Square Garden. I went to Madison Square Garden one time with my wife to see a concert, and I had my weapon, and they're like, "No, I had to go back to the bus terminal." And put my,
that's not going away. So that because it's privately owned, they can basically say what they want. But the public streets around Times Square, they just passed they amended the Leosa bill to include off-duty and retired officers that can carry in state buildings. You can, as of a week ago, you weren't allowed. Well, I think it still has to go to Senate. You couldn't, as a retired or an active off-duty officer, couldn't go into a post office legally with a gun because you're on federal property. Look, unless you tell someone you have a gun, no one's going to know anyway. But just the fact that it exists there, just the fact that it's there. Yeah, somebody sees something on your hip and makes a call, and then you come outside and someone's waiting for you, or whatever the circumstances are. Like I get the intent of what they're trying to accomplish, but you're going about it wrong. Yeah, for that purpose anyway. Times Square, you can't. You think I'm getting on the A train from where I live, Rockaway Beach, to go into Times Square without a gun? Oh, and by the way, you want me to go to a game at the Garden and still not have a gun? I don't go. Right. I don't go to shows anymore. I don't go to the Garden. I don't go to events. If I can't go carry my gun, I don't go. Right. I'm happy to sit on my couch and eat my own chicken and shit in my own toilet. Right. I don't need to take a train to Manhattan to do that.
And the perps aren't reading those signs.
No, of course not. Of course not. No, they're smuggling guns at their assholes. Right. I mean, if I had to, it is what it is. Yeah.
I would say I feel sorry for the public. That at least myself, and it's true. Like when I go anywhere, I take my weapon, even for my own protection, for my family. But and I feel sorry for people walking around there. They don't. What happens when? So what happened with that police officer? Just got beat up by two thugs.
Guy in the Bronx. Yeah.
They beat him up. They smashed his face. They found out he was a police officer. That's when they went to town on him.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they got caught. But
And what was the first thing? And I don't know if you guys have been following this. I'm not a huge social media guy. I do it because of my business. You'd be surprised how many cops in some of these groups, the first thing out of their mouth, there's more to the story. He must have been involved in something. Even if you thought that, how is your first instinct not to protect the cop? How is that even humanly possible? How are you marking this guy guilty? You know nothing. All you know is the guy he was out in detail. He left the detail in his uniform, walked to his car. He got jumped and got beat up. That's all we know. And you guys are saying that, he wasn't even working in his own command. He had his detailed out someplace else. He drove to that detail. He parked. He did his work. And then on the walk back to the car, he gets jumped. And the first thing cops are going to say is, he must have been involved in something else. Like, is this who you want working next to you? Is that the guy in your foxhole? Not my foxhole.
Nope.
Is that the guy who's going to come running when you call an 85 or worse? Maybe.
Well, that's the way it is now. Cops, instead of staying together, that's the reason why our job is the way it is. Policing is that we don't stay together anymore. You criticize one another. You talk about things that they don't do, what they did, but what about you? Talk about that. What about you? Look at yourself. Don't criticize anybody else.
Of course. Yep. Start from within. We all have broken glass in our houses, right? You're sitting there throwing stones about whatever it is a lot of that is, I used the term dinosaur earlier because typically it's like a hairbag or a guy that's angry or whatever. They're the older guys. And a lot of them are the older guys who worked when you guys were working, that went through all that shit. And their first instinct should be to, man, I'll give him the wood shampoo. I got the Coca-Cola. I did whatever it is. The first thing isn't, he must have been dirty. He must have been involved in something. Come on, man.
No, it was always
This guy's his family's got to read that. He's got to read that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I didn't really mean. And honestly, maybe there was something. Maybe they'll find it. That shouldn't be your first reaction, though.
No.
Wouldn't be if it was your kid. The first thing would be, not my kid. Well, let's work it out. Let's figure it out, and we'll find out what's going on, and we'll take the appropriate action. First thing they want to do is hang him. I don't get it.
I just want to say one thing. I know talked to a couple of the police officers downstairs that hadn't seen, actually, they used to work for me. The job has changed, especially a couple of supervisors that I was talking to downstairs. It's a tough job nowadays, to be the supervisor. First thing police officers make a car stop. Next thing you know, they don't want to give up their license. Next thing they want to talk to the sergeant. The sergeant goes on there. They don't want us to sergeant. They want to talk to the lieutenant. I'm on the desk. Joe's on the desk. We got to leave whatever we have to do to go down there. And it's like pulling teeth. It's so disrespectful. Getting back to what I said, the George Floyd incident destroyed our job.
So what year did you retire?
I retired actually 3 years ago.
3?
I went from 1980 to 2022.
And Mac, you're 2016?
2016.
2016. All right, so let's pick a random number and say 10 years. If you could go back to 10 years from now, change whatever was going on right now, you could pick one piece of law enforcement, whether it's a tactic or a policy or something, one simple thing that you think would make a significant change. Can you pick the one item that really kind of sticks in your jaw, or to say like that never would have happened, or if we're going to survive, if this job that we do, this calling is going to make it, this has to change. What would you say that is?
The motivation, internal motivation for the guys. And as supervisors, Bobby and I used to just go out there and do the job. We considered ourselves cops with rank.
Mm-hmm.
So we were both lieutenants, but deep down, we were cops.
Still cops.
So we led by example. We'd go out there, we'd write tickets, we'd lock people up. He had a big arrest by the Target in Jersey City where people were rampaging the store with trying to steal iPads with stolen credit cards. And he started that. It started a whole grand larceny investigation with NYPD. It was beautiful, beautiful. We
cops doing cop work, right?
We learned. And every day I went out on the road, I wanted to learn something and I wanted to do something. If you're the type of police officer that likes to just sit around and wait for the call, then you should be a fireman.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I agree.
You have to be proactive. You have to be proactive, and you're missing out on a good career because it's freaking fun.
But it's funny you mentioned learning. The training officers are supposed to be training these young guys, and then they pass them off. The minute you stop learning or wanting to learn, that means you can't teach others. Like you've I don't want to say you've given up, but you have a duty to continue to be better at what you do. And that's going to make it's like a ball player, right? When Alonso's hitting, everyone's hitting. When the pitcher's on fire, the guys behind him on the field aren't making errors. Like it's a team effort. And I don't think they put enough effort into the fact that it is not a one singular event. Like everyone's here as a team. And if you can't continue to do what you're doing, then all the guys behind you are not going to get there. They're not going to do what you were trained to do. You know, you have to keep. We had a sergeant that you did your report, and then he had to check it out. And we in the MRPD we only used black pens. You only had black pen.
Right.
He would take a red pen on the official paper, and he'd go like that, and people hated him for it. Sergeant Wilson,
The red pen.
Let me tell you, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
You did not send a 61 to Sergeant Wilson more than twice because you knew when you got it back with red pen, it's red pen. You have to take that and throw it in the garbage, and you got to do it all over again.
Right.
So people didn't like him for like nitpick shit like that. But I'll tell you what, when I left there and I went to my next assignment, I got him on the side and I thanked him for making me a better cop. And you could tell that he
All right, thank you,
appreciated
Lieutenant
it.
Vargas. Thank you.
He appreciated it. He said, that's my job. He said, that's my job. I said, Willie, you made me a better cop. You made everyone that worked here. And I told him straight up, I go, people think you're a scumbag. They don't like you for this, this, and this. He's like, you don't need to tell me why they don't like me. I know why they don't like me.
Matt.
I said, but we learned something from you, and we need guys like you. We really do. We can't have everyone that wants to just go to the bar and get drunk and bang chicks in the parking lot. That's great because 90% of us do that. We do need a couple of guys that say, hey, I'm still going to teach you how to be a good officer. And it doesn't stop with a collar. It doesn't even stop with your 61. It stops when the conviction is in. That's when it stops. You retire 10 years, you get called back. Oh, I don't want to go back. Your job's not done yet.
Mm-hmm.
Your job's not. Listen, you're in Florida. I get it. If you're living in New York State and you're getting called back for a fucking murder case from 15 years ago, you have a duty to show up and finish that case. It doesn't end when you retire.
Totally agree.
Like that's just the way it is. And that mentality is gone.
You nailed it. Unbelievable what you just said. You are 100% correct, and I agree with you 1,000% what you said.
Yeah,
It's true.
Guys,
No.
those guys that did that, and it was a job, and I'm finished, and I'm fishing somewhere. Dude, your work's not done, bro.
It's all about your heart.
You know how many convictions
Your work's not done.
were lost? I know for a fact, NYPD, my wife used to work for the DA's office. Guys make robbery arrests. They didn't want to show up to the grand jury because I can't make it. I got to babysit. I can't do it. So what happens? They
DP it.
They
Yeah,
DP it.
They throw it. Like
The flight or going the paperwork for us, myself and Lieutenant Mack here, we're very hard on guys with the paperwork because when you go to court, the 88 looks at that report, everything's there,
Yeah.
all the facts, everything is you're good. You're
and
golden.
they know if they get a bag of shit in that report, they look at that and go, well, I have 50 more of them. I'm not taking this. Like, guys, do your job. Because I got 48 more that are done perfectly, and I will get through those in no time. They're not picking this paper up and doing your work for you. You show up with a finished, polished product and let them do it. And guys like Willie, guys, the reason that some guys did it and some didn't.
And I do feel bad. Well, before your next thought, I do feel bad because Mac actually started to comment on. He wasn't just red pen. He would actually comment. And to his defense, some of the stuff that they had to read. One of my favorites that I saw that he corrected. Somebody was referring to the perp as dependent, instead of defendant. So he circled it every time. He goes, dependent? Are you declaring him on your fucking taxes?
Exactly. You get 20% off at the end of the year for that guy.
I mean, yeah, I couldn't imagine, having to read some of that. So in defense of the red pen.
You could also put them down as a source of income, right? Because without them, we weren't making money. Who'd you work for? I worked for Port Authority and every mud I ever collared. All right, guys. Eddie Gray is in the green room waiting for us to come out. We're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna have Eddie and his partner Teresa come out and discuss a little bit of his career and congratulate him on his retirement. And then we're gonna go downstairs and probably do some really stupid shit.
All right.
You guys down with that?
Outstanding. Thank you, guys.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much.
right, Tommy, you're live again, Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you forget everything we spoke about during the break? Welcome back to the show. We're here with recently retired Port Authority Police Officer Eddie Gray, and with him is his beautiful partner, Teresa. Teresa, how are you?
Hello.
Are you enjoying our little environment here?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Did you listen to the show a little bit while you were waiting to come on?
Yes, I did.
Did I embarrass myself at all?
Not at all.
No? All right, well, I got that going for me. So you're saying I've got a chance.
There it is.
All right. So Eddie Gray, 31 years.
No, wait. No. Let me.
You're going to go right into the retirement speech, but let me give you a little bit of.
Okay.
People
all
don't
right,
know who the
fair.
fuck this guy is.
Go ahead.
31 years law enforcement, 30 of them with Port Authority Police Department. Well, I got notes here. I mean, we're going to really get into shit here. Let's go right to it.
No, see, you can't go right to it.
Well,
You got to
okay.
let me get this off my chest.
Fine.
I got to get it off my chest.
All right, let's go right to the retirement speech.
Okay. Well, no, but it has to lead into the retirement speeches.
That's not what you told
This is for everybody
Beautiful.
that didn't come to his final roll call, right? You're the kind of people that go to the reception, but you skip the wedding.
Oh.
So now you have no choice. Now you're going to sit and you're going to listen to his speech. Shut your mouths.
Thanks, George. I would first like to thank everyone for showing up to mine and George's last roll call. It was an honor seeing you all in attendance. George, a little special shout out to you and your lovely family. Congratulations and much luck and love in your time. Secondly, I would like to thank the Port Authority command staff that's present today. Special thanks to the Holland Tunnel Commanding Officer, Captain Rhonda Irving, for allowing us to have this gracious moment here today. It is with much love and respect I give a huge shout out to my favorite supervisors, Lieutenant Ray Mendez, Lieutenant Lisa Orlando, Lieutenant Pete Elliott, Lieutenant Fabian Lander, and Patrol Sergeant Dennis Spinelli. I would also like to thank the PBA Union, the Pipes and Drums, and the Army Corps. I want to continue this speech by introducing everyone to a special person in my life. My name is Teresa. Teresa comes from a law enforcement background and family, and a profound love and respect for the profession I'm in and we love is the tie that binds us most. And I love her deeply for that. Thank you, baby, for being there and supporting me throughout the years. I promise you, honey, the best is yet to come. I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to the civilian staff at the Holland Tunnel, beginning with the Holland Tunnel General Manager, Ricky Ramirez. Ricky, I just wanted to thank you for maintaining such a beautiful facility. Keep up the good work and good luck in your upcoming retirement. God bless. I would also like to thank the Holland Tunnel TBAs who I worked with hand in hand throughout many years at the Holland Tunnel. They come no better than these guys. Last but not least, a huge shout out to the Holland Tunnel maintenance. Imagine our world without a maintenance crew. I can't and I wouldn't want it. In particular, I'd like to recognize Charlie Madsen and Kevin Janiak. They really made my time here at the Holland Tunnel meaningful and welcoming. There was never a task too big for them to handle. Just take a look at the setup here today. From my heart to you guys, thank you. I will always remember and miss you guys. In an event this big, it's hard to thank everyone with such limited time, so please accept my sincere thank yous. I appreciate you all. And thank you for all your kind words, generosity, and nostalgic stories. I am in this position today for my retirement and would like to express my deepest gratitude to my mentor and friend, Joe Macaluso. It's an honor to have had the opportunity to learn from him, and I am incredibly thankful for the guidance and support you provided over the years. Mac is the person that inspired me to take this job and become the cop I am today. Mac, thank you for your presence and your kind words today. Much love and respect. And there was one more person I would like to talk directly to, and that's my little brother, partner in crime, Joshua Alabama. In a world full of nonsense and fake people, he was a real one. Tried and true blue. He was a great partner, cop's cop, a friend, and a brother like no other. Our world needs more of him. Thank you for everything you have done for me, Mo. I will always cherish the great times we shared together, and I will always love you. In retirement, I take with me the memories of those who are no longer with us. This must serve as a reminder to our young officers here to stay safe, take care of your families, and always watch your six. I can keep you here for hours telling stories of the past, but if you really want to know all the juicy details, bring a few cold ones and meet me at the Eddie Gray Sun Zone. In closing, cops don't say, I love you. They say, be safe. So with that, I'd like to end this by telling you all, please be safe. Thank you.
Very well done.
Lovely
Very
speech.
well done.
Wow. Phew.
He didn't cry at all.
No.
I thought you was going to cry. He's probably seen this like 6
I'm
times. I
crying
thought
again.
you were going to cry.
I know somebody that did cry though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What was that? Oh, Teresa cried?
You still made me cry.
Teresa.
again.
A little
Why?
bit.
Well,
That's
why are you
it.
crying?
Oh, the
little bit.
part where he says
Of the,
I made
oh,
her
when,
cry.
the speech to me.
oh, looking at you?
Yeah.
Is that all it takes? A couple of kind words to make you cry? Really? Oh, yeah, yeah.
I guess especially when I say the best is yet to come.
Yeah, the best is yet to come. We'll see about we'll see about that.
The best is yet to come. And babe, remember that speech when I said that the best is yet to come?
Yep.
You know what?
What?
That time is here. Because the best is yet to come.
Oh my
Are you-
God.
Are you married?
No, you did.
I did.
It's not a
Oh
no.
my God.
I told you. All right. The best is yet to come. It's here.
That's not you. You're
It is
such
me.
a shy guy.
I know. It took me a lot to do this and get through it, but I did.
That explains last night.
That explains a lot.
Oh my
How
God.
I've been the last
Does it fit?
couple weeks. It fits 7.5.
He was very sneaky. Very sneaky.
I was the
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
Let's see. You're shaking. Let's see. Hold it up. He's shaking.
Don't
I
drop
am
it.
shaking, really shaking. Honey,
Oh my God, babe.
my fiance. Remember you told
I
everybody.
told the bakery.
You tell
You go like
everybody,
you
oh,
told
my
her your
fiance,
fiance. I'm like it sounds
guess what?
better than my
And I-
boyfriend.
and I- underneath, I'm like, she is my fiance. Thank you.
Well, hold on. Is that a yes?
Fucking. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Listen,
28
listen,
years.
There was an offer.
28 years.
There was an
Yes.
offer made. There was an offer made.
Oh my God. 28 years. Oh my God. No, wait, today's your day.
No,
No,
it's your day.
It's your day.
You collectively. He didn't do the. He listen. He didn't do this alone.
No.
He wasn't a cop alone. He didn't come home rough days alone. He didn't go to work when he wanted to stay home alone.
I unpack your bag. How do you find that?
Wasn't
He-
there.
He hid it. He hid it in his prison wallet.
You remember? You remember yesterday? We said, "Oh, what are you giving Josh?"
I'm
I
like,
said,
what are
money.
you behind your
I
bag?
said, "I'm giving
Like
him
your
money."
money.
It wasn't money. He was holding this for me for today.
See that?
Oh my God.
We played it off well, Josh. Thank you.
Sucker.
You got me. You got me.
Hands a little clammy, right?
Yeah, a little bit. That's all right. It's all right. You're entitled. Surprise.
Surprise. I love it.
So this is a big old party. So now you understand why we were trying to get people
We're trying to get.
in
We wanted to
and
get.
chime in
We wanted to
and
get everybody.
we
I wanted
really-
to get Ashley.
everyone
I wanted
tried.
to get JoJo. I wanted to get everybody here because I wanted everybody to say it.
uh-huh.
You know.
Wow.
Yeah. I
got me.
couldn't.
And that's why.
And I
every-
couldn't say anything. I'm like, I
And
need
that's
your
why
daughter's
everybody
content.
downstairs, they're watching it on the big screen.
And I don't
You
know if
got
you know
me.
this about him, but he's usually not one short of words.
He ruins everything.
Of course he does.
Well,
How
listen,
you didn't ruin this?
Just by
Josh?
showing
How
up.
Well,
he
no,
held
this-
the
He
secret?
couldn't.
this one I couldn't
This one-
ruin.
this
But
was
listen,
good.
if I give you something, and all right, so maybe it was something meant for another day, and maybe it ruins a surprise. But aren't you surprised that when I give it to you, no matter what time it is, like you're just a surprise, right? So we don't really ruin anything. I think you did it right, Ed.
Uh-huh.
I think I done right.
I think you
Thank
did okay.
Thank you.
Well,
Those-
we,
listen, those trips to New York that I had to make to,
Oh,
That-
God.
going to New York. Oh,
you were down on
thanks to Joey Conapata down there and Dennis for driving me.
down on the
Yeah.
you going down to the Bowery?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the hot spot. I
It
went there
is.
20,
Wow.
30 years
When
ago.
did you do that? You told me everything you're doing.
No, I didn't
Yeah,
tell
I'm
you.
getting coffee, honey. Yeah, I'm at the park.
Oh, he's
yeah,
that-
honey, I'm over here.
He's
Oh.
that
Like,
kind, huh? So now she's starting to doubt you now.
No, no.
Oh, what were you doing last Thursday
That's
when
it.
you said you were at the gym, asshole?
Yeah.
Now she knows.
Eddie was not at the gym.
So now
No.
everything that you're going to question, he's going to say, "Well, I was shopping for the ring."
Yeah.
You got like a 5-year window.
No,
on
actually,
this.
he's a great guy. I'm telling you. So the last week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever, like
Was-
he wasn't himself. He was like,
He was-
didn't I tell you?
he was
Steve?
funny.
Yep.
You're like, he's got a
Now
girlfriend.
that explains it. No, I'm like, maybe.
No,
And we had a girlfriend. Now he's got a fiance. that's French for fiance. Yeah, isn't it?
Not it was this week was a big week. You know, it's
You had a
between
lot
my
of drama in the
retirement
last
party.
month, right? Jesus.
Yeah. So now it comes full circle, and I made her cry.
You would
I
take-
mean, he did promise you.
He was buying rings, taking pictures of turtles. He's very busy. Very busy.
Foxes and turtles.
Yeah, you want a picture of a turtle?
Woodpeckers.
You want a picture?
Woodpeckers was
You
the
want a
big
picture of
theme
a,
this week.
I'll show you a picture of a turtle popping his head out of the shell. Come here. Come
Oh,
you got a wide angle lens?
man.
Oh, where does the show go from here?
Wow.
I don't even know.
I think that's a good show.
That's a great
Wow.
show.
This is a first.
It's been, I mean, how long are you guys together?
I don't know, about 10 years, wasn't it?
10 years?
Yeah, three or four.
28,
And Teresa-
November
1995.
14th,
1995.
1996.
And you're,
96.
Yeah, babe.
Oh, that's right, 6.
you
I got on in
were,
95.
Teresa was,
Little old man.
Teresa,
Oh.
you were
39th
married.
Street, 9th Avenue.
We were, Teresa and I were talking earlier. You were married to a cop who had passed,
Yes.
right? So I think this, I'm not really sure what the exact definition is, but I think this might make you a badge bunny. I think she's got badge bunny status now. No?
I think so.
That's all right.
Take this badge bunny off the market, bitch.
Yes.
This badge bunny's not available anymore.
Yeah, I don't honestly. I can't even think. You know, we're gonna skip out the rest of the shit because everyone's downstairs, like waiting now for you guys now. But I
Yeah,
will,
everybody's waiting.
That's-
But hold on, we're gonna leave on this note. all
Go
right?
with it.
We're gonna leave on this little note. We're gonna find out because obviously I knew what was going on, and that's why you and I had to go over some questions earlier. And I didn't want to say it was like a newlywed game type stuff because I didn't want to give anything away. But let's just see how well you think you know Eddie Gray.
Oh
I-
boy.
I-
Oh
I-
boy.
There you go.
I asked her some questions earlier, and she answered them, and I want to see if Eddie answers them the same way.
Oh.
What do you think of that?
Oh,
Oh boy.
All right,
This
first
is
Oh my God.
first question, Mr. Gray, in Teresa's voice, if you can do it. No, I'm kidding. What article of clothing does Eddie wear that you hate? Got one answer. It could be a general thing. It could be a specific. What's the thing that she's like?
Even though I always say I love it, right? But I still.
Yeah, but,
so-
You had to pick something.
sweatpants.
Bingo! Sweatpants is a winner. Nice.
Cargo sweats.
All right, here we go. Ready? This is a good one. I like this one. What is the first thing Eddie would do if he woke up as a woman?
These nuts.
If Eddie Gray woke up as
Eddie
a
Gray
woman,
wakes up as a woman. Teresa says the first thing he would do is this:
take a piss,
sitting down or standing.
sitting down.
Oh, okay.
Make me breakfast.
wow.
Because I always make breakfast.
Wait a minute. Now hold on a second.
No, that's a loser. Stop.
No, hold on a second. I make breakfast all the time.
Do you do it while you're pissing? I'm not eating your eggs, bro. I'm telling you right now. I am not having breakfast in your house.
It sounded really weird. But then again, listen, we are a safe space. If you didn't see our sign downstairs, we are a safe space. So that's okay, Tommy. You're good.
All right. Has Eddie ever used police jargon during sexy time? If so, just the word or words, not in context. For example, maybe he might say, I got one under, right? Not, he says shots fired every time he farts. Like, I don't want to fool, because we do that. Jen Knoll downstairs, Jen Knoll, the bartender, every time she farts, she goes into like Pistolero Weston. She's like, she points her fingers. I'm not talking about that. I'm like a very specific word or phrase he might use during sexy time.
Oof.
Anything? What do you think, Ed?
Don't look at me.
Cuff me.
Oh, all right. That's good. That's good.
God!
But not quite. She says you might say
Please, no! 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 No!
oh, it gets worse.
Uh-oh.
She says you might say don't move, bitch. All right.
Wow,
All right. We're 1 for 3. 1 for 3. Ready? Is Eddie a shower or a grower?
Jesus.
Grower. Yes. Yeah. He's 2. He's 2. Here we go. If Eddie had a safe word, you know, like
More.
bondage stuff.
More.
If Eddie had a safe word, what would it be?
Eddie had a safe word. What would it be?
Pineapple. Pineapple. Say pineapple.
only if it's upside down.
Oh, wow. Look at you, bro. Learn way too much
Come
about
on,
you,
guy.
man.
Come on. I took the mustache off. It's all.
Uh-huh.
Think of us. Don't listen to them.
A safe word.
Yeah. It means a safe word like when you know, like,
No, safe word's like stop.
yeah, like stop. Hot chocolate.
Or maybe not stop.
Yeah, like, right. So,
Like baby.
What's your
No.
what's your safe word?
Yeah.
No, I got him. I stumped him.
It stumped me.
I stumped the gray. She said your safe word might be harder. Which isn't probably the safe word.
Oh. There you know.
All right, here's the last one. This is the
Wow.
bonus question, and Teresa did not get access to this one, so she has to answer this live right here.
oh my God.
Here it is.
No
That's not
pressure.
fair.
No pressure.
Eddie wakes up naked in a Thai whorehouse after his bachelor party. He doesn't remember much, but the facts are these, and they are irrefutable. His butthole, though intact and sore, is leaky and freshly pulsating. He has bruises in the shapes of tiny fingers wrapped around his neck. And lying next to him is a young naked ladyboy with a tattoo on the small but supple breast that simply reads, Big Mac 1. Then it comes back to him slowly like The Hangover Part 8. Me Tricky You, that's the ladyboy, is a world-renowned biologist and vaccine designer. He's designed the cure for male pattern baldness and erectile dysfunction, obviously. Across the room sits President Kamala Harris.
Oh. Whoa.
Only one of these guests is leaving that room. Which one is he killing and why?
Oh, Jesus. I'm sitting this one out.
That's a good one.
So Kamala Harris is a guest?
Yeah, Kamala Harris is a guest, and so is the lady boy, Me Trick You.
I think.
Who does he kill? Which
Kamala
one
Harris.
gets out and gets to tell story?
Hypothetically.
Who's
Hold
getting
on
it?
a second.
Look how ready he is.
Hold
The
on.
views and opinions expressed in this program
Embarrassed, like,
are
how did
those
you
of the
know?
speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Who gets it? Me fool you?
She already answered.
boy.
She already answered.
Does he agree with that?
Really?
Yeah.
Me Trick You goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You're gonna let Kamala Harris live?
oh,
Well,
Jesus.
I don't want to get violated again. So,
right.
so
I mean, that's a good point.
we'll get rid of.
So apparently,
That's a-
you don't know him as much.
I mean,
As well as you
so
think.
we're just not going to talk about the fact that that entire scenario was in Tommy's head. Like he actually put that scenario, even naming the lady boy. We're skipping right over that. We're pretending like that didn't happen.
Me Trick You is a real guy.
Oh my God.
Me Trick You. Oh, where's Salerno? He needs his, he needs his,
Oh,
he needs his
100%.
Asian lady voice. Me Trick You.
Well, listen. Congratulations again to you guys.
Mo's
I
going to
love
wrap
you.
this up.
I love you both.
You
I
have
mean,
it till the end. Go.
No, it's that's
No,
it.
you got-
I
no.
love you both.
Make him cry.
They know. No,
Make
I'm not
him
gonna-
cry.
There's no.
Say something. Why do you love him? Why do you love this
no,
man?
we're not doing that.
He shouted you
We're
out.
not doing
No,
that. Yes, he
bullshit.
did.
He shouted you
We're
out.
not doing that.
He
It's
named,
not about me.
He named 3
It's not
people in
about
his
me.
retirement speech. Why did he
All right,
name
fine.
you?
I mean, he knows why I love him. Remember that special two-handed thing? Yeah, you know. All right, listen.
That's it.
Wrap it up. I mean, Tommy,
No.
you
You
usually
don't get off easy.
you-
Why did he name you?
you usually have a plug. Do you want to get your plugs in or no?